Each one of us has most likely dealt with this situation. Handing over a project at university minutes before the deadline, avoiding presentations, preparing a project for a client too late. And what was the reason for this? Because for some reason, you had thousands of better things to do. Maybe you were alphabetically arranging your books on the bookshelf, playing Final Fantasy for the third time, making dinner, or even washing the plates. Anything is better than having to do what is very much necessary. As it turns out, it's almost never the fault of laziness. Do you want to know why? Have I got you intrigued? I will tell you the reasons why in this animation. Hi, my name is Sophie, and you are watching Psychology Unleashed, a YouTube channel established to exploring psychology, life hacks, and book reviews to inspire you. If you are interested in these matters, subscribe to our channel. It is worthwhile firstly understanding what laziness is and how it is perceived. This term is used as a description of certain personality traits. It is difficult to say that there is such a thing as a lazy nature in a human being, but understanding laziness as a feature which is inseparably connected with the person who bears this trait ties our hands a little in this context. So, have you ever experienced this? Because I know I've experienced laziness. In the end, someone explained to me, and I said I was being lazy, in a quite straightforward and unforgiving manner. They watched me be lazy all through school, and I just figured, well, yes, I am lazy. I can't help it. Well, it is a little more complicated than that. Let's start with the fact that we understand a lazy person in a different way, with a different set of characteristics activated in specific situations. And there are some situations which have a greater impact, activating lazy patterns of behavior. There are two main trends in psychology which try to describe the sources of our behavior: personality psychology and situational psychology. And although some of the components of what we understand as laziness are most probably grounded in some personality traits, their activation is already the responsibility of specific situations and a specific context that, for example, blocks us or causes unexpected emotions in us. What's more, people who are very productive and active on a daily basis often have an area in their lives which they can't get on with. Do they also have a lazy personality? Well, no. Therefore, the situation with such a postponement and accusation of laziness should be confronted in the following steps. Don't judge anyone, even yourself. Just ask. It's easy to say, I am lazy. The problem is that it does not solve any problems. It simply expresses the acceptance and some arrogance of the person who decides to leave this problem unsolved. Worse, because judging others by laziness is a kind of unfair stigmatization and deprivation of self-esteem. Nobody likes to be called lazy. Anyway, if we want to help ourselves or someone else, we won't achieve anything with such labeling. So what do you do instead? Ask these specific questions. Take an interest in the source of this alleged laziness. Ask about the sources of this barrier. What's blocking you? Since when does that block you? And what would have to happen for you to do things? Write down these answers. Think about them. Even at some point, you are going to write, something is blocking me, or anger is growing on me, I don't know where it is coming from. This is something you have some information. Number 2, think like a homeless person to understand what you are looking for. It may sound absolutely crazy, however, there is a reason. I heard this metaphor relatively long ago. Imagine you judge homeless people. This is unnecessary, and the only reason we do this is to calm our anger with the world's injustice. Think about it. The homeless guy probably lives under a bridge or at the local train station. The word rest is not in his dictionary. The world is unfriendly to such a person. At night, it is cold. In the summer, it's too warm. Hunger, dirt, cursing passerbys, a constant lack of cash, sometimes prolonged illnesses, minor or severe injuries, and that constant pain as a result of neglecting medical visits. And also a diet. unhealthy, cruelly restricted. Generally, the life of a homeless person is a nightmare. Constant stress, tension, everything around is hostile. And suddenly, somebody from the outside comes in, points fingers and says, "Look at that deadbeat, go to work, stop collecting money for alcohol or cigarettes." In this context, it is not important how productive or unproductive this homeless person's personality. His life is taken over by situational psychology. This man lives only for the moment. He rejected his own personality in favor of basic survival. In this context, cigarettes will soothe the feeling of hunger and dirt. Alcohol, typical of a soothing depressant, will somehow allow him to fall asleep on cold nights, or simply forget about the humiliation that is the homelessness wandering of a once probably ambitious man. So let's get back to the concept of laziness. If you go by this metaphor, in the end you will find that you're doing lots of things, not only what is necessary, which makes sense in a given context. Like that homeless guy's cigarettes or alcohol, some kind of a certain set of events led to this blockage, to a situation where you were delaying to soothe things and make them easier for yourself. So now what? Look around in your life. The little things that are taking you out of balance. Big traumas, little traumas, freshly experienced failures, frustrating work, annoying parents, a tense home situation, a recent birth of your child, mental problems. These are things that generate a lot of tension. Situational stress, which you don't relieve by punching a training bag, and which can block you for good. Look for these things in your life and consider yourself lazy. Number 3, look for what consumes you. If you have already identified a number of highly stressful situations in your life, the ones that you have not come to terms with, the ones that you have not reconciled with, the ones that often sit under your skin and let you know about them from time to time, then try to approach them from both sides. Give them a hierarchy from the one you consider to the most important and the most urgent to deal with. Also, try to judge which of them is the most resourceful, which one takes the most time, is the most painful, most often knocks you out of balance. It turns out that the context is very important in what we think is right and wrong. And here I would find that playing Final Fantasy instead of learning is precisely the right thing to do in this particular context. Although for an outside observer, it is rudely obvious that it is wrong and inappropriate thing to do, and it is certainly not rational. Number 4, take care of the most urgent things which affect you. Unfortunately, I'm not fairly certain about which barriers stop you from doing things. But if you have managed to sort these things into a list of the most resourceful, the most urgent, and troublesome, then there is nothing left to do but face them. Of course, it can be that, ironically, the most urgent thing that you should normalize in your life will be the one that you will put away indefinitely. Yes, you can fall into such a strange loop. For example, you think it is urgent to improve your condition because you feel terrible and weak. The answer is physical activity or going to the gym, which you are just procrastinating, and so on and so on. Then look for other things that could block this decision. You cannot procrastinate endlessly. You can untangle these distractions. Sometimes you have to go to a psychologist or a psychotherapist. It's not shameful, it's worthwhile for someone with good knowledge to help you solve this strange entanglement in your life. Number 5, you have enough ability to move. There is no such thing as a lazy personality. Procrastination, as many studies show, is a typical functional problem based on 2 misconceptions about yourself. Number 1, you're not good enough to deal with what you want to do, or you don't know what to do or what the path looks like. Nobody knows what the path is like ahead of you. You don't know. The solution is just to plan the first steps of a larger goal. The second thing is that we feel that we are not good enough. Fear of failure usually means that the procrastinator just cares about the result and wants to do the right thing. And this often results in an additional tension to all those contextual elements that occupy the attention and strength of the procrastinator. Number 6, if you find a barrier, relax. Situational psychology in this context does not have a single answer to the thousands of potential problems that stress you. The essence here is tension, which is often exuberated by this mix of consciousness that you have to do something already, but you avoid it a lot. It makes you nervous, and suddenly a few hours disappear playing a video game. There is an element of tension here. Try to get up from the place of your current procrastination, torture, and relax. A walk in the open air, maybe a dance, or do some yoga. Change your surroundings for a while and come back with a fresher head for what you are supposed to do. This moment of stress is crucial in sabotage, so let's try to control it with relaxation. Don't forget to work on the big problems you've identified along the way, which irrationally poisons your life with stress and causes irrational behavior. Using relaxation to control your current influx of stress is a short-term remedy. While working on the big problems you've identified in life, this should be your long-term goal. I hope you will use these tools to your advantage, and I invite you to leave us a comment and tell us what you think. I thank you for your attention and invite you to discover our channel. If you are not yet one of the subscribers of the channel Psychology Unleashed, please click the subscribe button and wait for our next animation.